Hey Standing Night Paper of Running Wild, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate all your guys' support and kind words in my past videos. I know there's a long stretch of me not posting videos, but all your support and really all your comments have meant so much to me, and it's really inspired me to keep on posting more videos like today's video. And today's video, I'm going to show you my blood test that I'm getting. And I like to get blood tests normally a couple times throughout the year, although I've skipped it in the past and regretted it. But I'm about a month out from my goal race right now, so that's why I'm getting it done, because if something's off, I have time to change it. So this round, I am going to get, or for my blood, actually, let me just back up a little bit here. I should explain to you a little bit more what I'm doing. I could go to my doctor and get a blood test, but that's typically pretty expensive in the US, and it's also kind of a pain in the butt. And so I'm just using Walk-in Lab. And I can just order my own test online, and then about 5 minutes from where I live, there's an office. I can just show up with, I'll get a little paper to print out once I actually complete the order, take it in, and then hopefully if I go at the right time, I can get my blood drawn right away. That's it. And then I normally end up getting my results not like a day after, 2 at the most, which is pretty darn good. And so this time around, I am going to get, I don't know if you guys can see this, my complete blood cell count, also known as CBC, ferritin blood test, and iron and total iron binding capacity. Just skip ahead a little bit. This is what the results normally kind of look like after. I have a lot of athletes ask me what they should get tested in. It's definitely always a CBC. A lot of times it is iron and ferritin like I'm doing. And if they've never gotten checked before, a lot of times I'll look or ask them to get their B12 and vitamin D. B12 is always good. And if you want to learn more about B12, I don't want to do a whole spiel on it now, but if you go to sagerunning.com on our Plant Power page, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a good little kind of like fact area on B12 that's worth checking out. And then vitamin D, a lot of people think, oh, I'm running outside a lot, it's probably pretty good. And maybe, like this time of year in Boulder, Colorado, where it's sunny a lot, I definitely don't worry about vitamin D as much. But I have seen a lot of athletes be low on it, and being low in vitamin D does increase your chances of stress fractures. And I don't know, you just typically don't feel good if your vitamin D is low. So that's worth checking out too. And some athletes like to get some more like minerals and vitamins checked out. Like Sage often gets like magnesium or zinc and stuff like that. And so yeah, moving on. This is really important. I don't want to go too much into this, but this is really important to know that when you increase your training, or you're training in the heat a lot, or both, your blood plasma volume increases, which is a great thing because you're getting more oxygen to your muscles. However, that kind of can skew your results a little bit, because normally if you're in good shape, your hemoglobin and hematocrit numbers, or hematocrit, they're going up, but your blood plasma volume normally increases a little bit more. And so sometimes you see your hematocrit and hemoglobin, I'm saying that right, numbers go down, and people are like, oh, I'm not going to be performing as well because those numbers are down. But that's not necessarily true, because your blood plasma volume is going up, which is a good thing. And so sometimes the higher the number of hematocrit and hemoglobin is not better. And I think there's a lot of confusion about that, and it is confusing. So maybe you want to do a little bit more research on that. I'm definitely not a doctor, and I'm not claiming to know it all, but that's a little bit I know about blood plasma, hematocrit, and hemoglobin, because your hematocrit and hemoglobin are typically numbers like you definitely don't want them to be low, but a lot of runners try to or they want them as high as possible, but that's not necessarily going to happen, or not needed to perform well. So that's also why it's good to do a couple blood tests throughout the year to see where things are at, and also throughout the year, so you can look back and be like, okay, my numbers are here when I was performing really well, or my numbers were here when I was performing really bad. A couple other things to know before getting your blood test. When you go in to get your blood test, you want to be properly hydrated. You don't want to be dehydrated or overly hydrated, because that can really screw up your results. So that's just something to keep in mind before. And one thing I do, I'm not actually sure if this is needed, but normally 24 hours leading up to my blood test, I don't take any supplements like iron pills, B12, vitamin D. Again, I'm not sure if that's actually needed or not, but that I feel like I've been told in the past, so typically adhere to that, but I should probably research that a little bit more. The reason I'm personally getting a ferritin and iron and total iron binding capacity is because that's one thing that can be low for me, and that's typical of all endurance athletes, especially females. Like, my iron has been low throughout my entire life, even no matter what my diet is. And especially when I was eating a lot of meat in high school, I remember trying to get my trying to donate blood, and I couldn't because my iron was too low. And typically it's actually better now, but I know sometimes when I'm doing a lot of vert and having a lot of that downhill pounding that I really need to be careful about my iron and how much I'm taking. I actually messed that up pretty bad last year, and part of the reason was because I was stupid, and even though I knew better, I did not get my blood test. And if I would have done that, I probably would have been able to change things and had a little bit better summer last year. But instead of dwelling on the past, I'm going to learn from it and not do that again this year. And also, when I start training at altitude, station I like to go camping a lot in the summer to the higher elevations, that's another risk factor for me that some of my things in my blood test can start getting low. And that's probably because I get a little bit too mountain happy, and I just want to put in the mountains all day long, and I don't rest enough. So that's part of the reason. But again, that's why you get blood tests throughout the year, because certain people have certain risk factors, and mine is playing in the mountains at altitude, which of course is one of the things I love to do the most. So I was filming this video, and then the memory got full, and the camera battery died, so if it seems like I was jumping around a little bit, I kind of lost my place. But I think I was going back to mention iron really quick, because I was talking about how my iron was low throughout the years, even though I was eating quite differently. And I just wanted to throw in really quick that vegetarians and vegans, we're not actually at higher risk for iron deficiency or anemia, but our iron stores can be a little bit lower, but that's not a bad thing. It doesn't actually affect performance, and actually things can get pretty dangerous when you have too much heme iron in your blood, so it's just something to consider. And on that note, because this might get a lot of people thinking about what supplements they should be taking, or they should be taking more, or a lot of people think the more the better, but that's not necessarily true. So I want to show you this really cool website. Actually, I think I would. Start here. Okay, so it's nutrition.gov, and they have a page with questions to ask before taking vitamin and mineral supplements. And this page is awesome, because there are actually a lot of supplements out there that people think are good to take, but then the research shows that taking these supplements can be extremely harmful for you. And so you go to this page, and then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find this link for a vitamin and mineral fact sheet. And then on this page, there's all these type of like minerals and vitamins and supplements that people often take. And so you can press on whatever you're thinking about taking, or maybe you're already taking, and then see what the research says about it, if it's actually good for you to take or not. So highly suggest going to do that before you consider taking anything. And also, if you're considering taking iron, definitely get a blood test first, because again, taking too much iron can be really dangerous for you. I think I covered everything before the camera died, and then the memory card got full. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Again, I truly appreciate your support, and hopefully I'll keep the videos coming as long as I have time. It is hard for me sometimes to fit these videos in, but I'll keep trying for you guys. And again, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, run wild.